Hey everyone, welcome to Medicare Agent IQ. I am Raul Gonzalez.
I'm Oscar Ibieta.
And so today we're going to continue on where we were before. And if you were listening last week, we talked about really kind of building, we call it a four-legged stool. It can be called many things, right? But basically multiple things that you could be doing to start generating sales.
Yep. And so today we're picking up, we left off on mail order leads. So if you're tuning in from last week's episode, the last thing we touched on was mail order leads. And today we're going to pick up on doing informal events inside of senior centers.
Yeah, appreciate that because I did not remember. So like originally we were going to I think originally the plan was for us to just go and jump in, maybe just start recording again, and then just one, it just didn't make sense with time. And so here we are a week later and we're running through it. But I think that a big one is events in senior centers. And Oscar, you've got a better memory about stuff like this. So if I start repeating myself of anything from last week, let me know. Yeah. But informal sales events in senior centers in particular are a very big part, I think, of what an agent should be or could be doing, right, to be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I first got into the business, when I was what we call a street level agent, right, just brand new to the game, out there selling it in the field, trying to create these relationships. I'm very green. I didn't have a background of sales. I didn't have any low hanging fruit out there for me. So what did I do? I had to get out there and find places where I could have events like this. And so one of the places where I was able to create some opportunity for myself was in a senior center.
Right.
I was able to get in there and just explain to them who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and they allowed me to go in and basically just set up a resource table. So I'd sit in there once a week and have my table out with some goodies and giveaways. That's what we would call an informal sales event. And so we've been in there in that same senior center for over 10 years now. Now, it's not me who's in there, but some of the agents that have joined us have kind of taken over that. But we've found that senior center and lots of others to be super successful for us. Yeah,
I think that there's opportunity if you go into the smaller senior centers and where maybe they have 80 people that go on a weekly basis, and then you could go out there maybe just once a month. Some agents go more regularly than that. Yeah. Some agents go 2-3 times a month. But this is not just for I hate it when agents just go in for AEP. Yes. What I think you need to be doing is all year long. Just consistency is where you're going to build those relationships. So when I think about informal sales events, what I want to do is I want to go to the person who sets up kind of the recreational or the social aspect of those senior centers. And I'm going to event coordinator, sometimes they'll be called, and I want to go up to them and I want to create a little bit of a relationship with them, right? So walk me through, if you were going to go in there, what would you be saying to them?
Probably one of the first things that I'm going to do is they usually have an events calendar. Yep. So I'm going to take a look at the calendar, maybe do a little bit of research online because they might have that available online, and see what it is that they have going on. So that way you've done some homework before you go in there, and you can say, hey, look, my name's Oscar Ibieta. I'm a Medicare insurance agent, and what I do is I work with seniors to help them understand how their Medicare plans work, what their options are, and really just make sure that they're taking advantage of all of their benefits. We don't charge for any of our services, and so really our job is just to be a resource to these people. I see that you have some events going on in the next month or two. I was wondering if maybe I could sponsor some prizes or bring in some additional things to help you with your events.
Yeah, and I might lead a little different, and this is where it comes to like different styles. Like my style might be like, hey, I'm going to come in and I do this, but really what I'm hoping to do is kind of create some relationships here. I never do any kind of selling here in the senior center, but really what I'm hoping to do is kind of create relationships. And sometimes in those relationships, what we find is that people will come up and approach me and say, hey, I'm not in the right insurance plan. Do you think you could help me? And so it's just, again, style. And what I would do is same thing you said. I wonder if I could sponsor some prizes, but maybe I'm thinking outside the box, and maybe I want to do my own date, and maybe where I want to have a bingo, and it would be, Medicare Monday, where we do a bingo that day, and if you go to United Healthcare's website, they have on their sales,
Jarvis,
in Jarvis, in their toolkit, where it is a bingo card with Medicare terms. And so that's kind of a cool thing. But other things that you could do, I mean, just make it fun. What's that? What's the game? Like the
Plinko?
Plinko. That's one where you can have some prizes that you could do. Bingo is to me one of the biggest ones. But they're just. Gosh,
drawing blanks here.
I'm drawing a blank. It's a cornhole.
There you go.
And I know that cornhole is just kind of a fun way, like for seniors to kind of come around together. But really, so my strategy in this informal sales event would be to just be part of that community. I want to become that friendly face that they see there, and then I'm hoping that people will approach me and talk to me. My style is not kind of like the in your face, like, come on, let's learn about Medicare. That's really not my style. Now everybody can do it a little bit differently, but I probably would go in like that. I would go in like maybe hosting parties, bring have an ice cream day where you bring ice cream for all the seniors.
Like September birthdays or October birthdays, something like that. I think, so you mentioned you want to go in and create these relationships. Another thing, it's a relationship with the senior center and the staff there, but in addition to that, it's a relationship with the seniors that are in there. And that's to your point, right? Your style, and I have a very similar style. I'm going to go in there and I want to get to know these people, and I want to have that relationship. And we talk about being successful in this business. It's creating those relationships and being genuine with what you do. How do you do that? Well, it might not be to go into the senior center and say, hey, let's talk Medicare. Let me get all your information. I want to sit down and get in front of you. It's just, hey, let's play some games. Let's have a little fun. I'm Oscar. This is what I do. Let's get to know each other. And over time, you start to build that relationship. And so there may not be something there immediately.
Right.
But as they get to know you, you become a familiar face, you're on that first name basis, then they're going to want to sit down and talk with you. And so you mentioned, don't just go in there during AEP. Let's get in there year round, and you want to be that face. Of course, right now you're listening to this and here we are getting ready to begin AEP. So try and get in there now. But I want to challenge you to actually go and continue to be in there in January. In fact, Q1, Q2, and Q3, make it a year-round thing. And I promise you that you're going to find success with that particular senior center or anywhere.
Yeah, I remember getting a picture across my desk one day of you, and you were dancing with the senior. We were just like roasting you for because the ladies love Oscar. When I talk about the ladies, in particular, the 68-year-old ladies have a fondness for Oscar. And so there's this picture, and the way that this senior was looking at Oscar she was in love. And so, but that's really what we want to do, is just kind of be part of that community, be that smiling face, be that senior very likely to
She's still my client.
So she was your
the
client
last 7 years now.
Okay.
She's been my client.
Yeah. So it's just like so a lot of times at the senior centers they take pictures, right? Mm-hmm. So it was one of those that just kind of came across our desk, and so we would just send it around to our other agents, kind of joking about Oscar being the apple of this particular senior's eye.
I'm okay with that. She refers business to me too.
There you go.
I'm okay with
Absolutely. So that's a big part of how to do this, right? How just be a part of that. Kind of think outside the box. I play guitar. That's something that I enjoy doing. Something that I think that on a very basic level, I could train seniors how to do that. So maybe I could set up something where on a monthly basis, I come in and give guitar lessons, or think kind of is there a karaoke party that you could do on a monthly basis, a dance, whatever it is. Just be a part of that community and do this all year long. Make that part of that stool that we talk about, and it's going to result in sales. Yeah. So again, just trying to grow that pipeline. The next one I think is one of the biggest opportunities that there is, in particular in lower income communities. Mm-hmm. which is retail opportunities. And so what I'm talking about, and don't get me wrong, it can work in the higher income communities as well, but I think it's like it works best in the low income communities. So I'm talking about the grocery stores. I'm talking about even to a lesser level, I would say the CVS opportunities, Walgreens, and places like that, where you could sit there. I always tell people, I would rather that you're sitting at a CVS where it's lower traffic. I'd rather you be there than watching The Price is Right at home, because we've got agents that are doing that or playing the video games.
Yeah. So when we say grocery stores, we're not referring. I mean, there there is an opportunity, but we're not referring to those big retail stores. And if there is an opportunity, if your upline has one, then great, absolutely do what you can to take advantage of it. But we're talking about those smaller stores, those your Dollar Generals, your CVS, your Walgreens. Try and go in the same way we talked about creating relationships with senior centers. Go in there and see if you can create a relationship with these stores. And we all know that United Healthcare, some in-network stores for those over-the-counter benefits, or even if they have a grocery benefit in whatever market that you're working. Dollar General is a store that's in network. CVS, Walgreens. Try and get in there and see if you can set up a table and have eye candy. We call it eye candy, where something that's going to draw attention, because as we know, you're not allowed to approach seniors when you're in these centers, but you want to be as noisy as you can with your setup, with your table, but do it in a place where that would be a store that I might recommend.
When people are walking by, smile.
Yes.
That smile, that warmth of a genuine smile, good morning and smile, it'll make people stop.
Don't do this. Don't be like this.
Yeah, if
head in the phone, computer.
Yeah, you know what? Go watch Price is Right instead of sitting there on your phone. Because it doesn't work. Don't waste your time by being out there and not engaged in who's around. Again, eye contact, smiles, and good mornings all over the place, and that's gonna.
I have a story. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I thought you were done. I have a story. I have an agent that I reached out to, and he was working a retail store. I called him, I don't know, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, and he took my call and says, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "Hey, do you have a second?" He's like, "Well, yeah, real quick though. I'm here at retail, so I want to get back to my table." He could have easily, if it's a slow day, he could have easily just stepped away, or done whatever. He could have sat in his chair and just kind of parked it and talked to me, but he was taking that shift very seriously, and he wanted to maximize his time there. So he said, "You know what, I can take your call really quickly, but I'd rather not be on the phone so that I can be a smiling face and trying to engage with the seniors that are walking through here."
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, let's do the next one now, and because I think what we'll do is at some point we're going to spend a lot more time on each individual one and really kind of go deeper on how to be effective with everyone. But so the next one I'm thinking is social media marketing. And so there are a lot of ways to do that. First of all, what I would say is you really, at this point with the new rules, like I wouldn't be talking benefits, right? I wouldn't be talking about the actual benefits, but really just kind of trying to let people know what you do. I'm Raul, and what I do is I help people find a Medicare plan that's right for them. So when you're turning 65, make me the person that you call. That's kind of the generic marketing message that you can still do right now. But what I would say is with that, I would be doing it, right? Like, so if I was active as an agent, just have a page where I'm maybe even doing reels where I'm just talking about Medicare, just kind of basics of Medicare, and on your page it has to have a disclaimer on kind of like the home page area, but outside of that, if you're not speaking benefits, you're fine to do it. I think that there's, some people are doing TikTok, some people are, just ways to generate business. Kind of think outside the box with that. And then there's also, advertising that you can do, less and less that you can do generic, but the carriers now are very often giving there's, United Healthcare has a bunch of generic social media marketing materials that you can use. So does Humana, so does Aetna. So you'd be able to just throw those on Facebook and do some advertising. I'd say that one thing that we noticed, right, when you kind of look at demographics of who is still using Facebook, I don't really engage on Facebook. Matter of fact, during the most recent election, I just deleted my Facebook. I was like, man, forget all this. You guys are too political. So I deleted my Facebook and I recreated a Facebook just so we could have it, just so I could have control over the Facebook for the business. And I have no friends on it. And so everybody can be on it, but who's actually using it? Who's using Facebook today?
Seniors,
yeah. Right? So there's still a lot of opportunity on Facebook. So keep that in mind. Instagram, of course, people are using all forms of social media, so stay active with it. So I would say that that's got to be a part of it. It doesn't have to be a part of your strategy, but it makes sense, right?
Just one piece.
Yeah. Just a piece of what you're doing. So let's go on to the next one, traditional digital marketing. So there's online ads. I would say that if you do it, for the most part, we're really not supposed to be doing kind of email campaigns. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing a great job of bringing people to you and asking for permission to do emails, you could get some automation going and automatically be reaching out to these people on a regular basis.
There's CRM systems that could probably help putting something like that in place, or you can hire like a third-party company, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And really through CRM, there's constant contact is a way to do it. There's a lot of different ways to do that. And if you're just starting out, it may be more difficult, right? You want to control costs, so you don't have to do that, but you can keep a list on Excel of people who've given you permission to contact them via email. Kind of keep that list on Excel, and at some point, when you can't afford it, you can upload that into a CRM, upload that into different areas. So, absolutely, I would say that there's still a lot of value in kind of the digital marketing. But the one thing that I would say with that is during AEP, your dollar is worthless. Because so many people are spending just thousands of dollars. It drives up the cost per click on a lot of those. So just kind of keep that in mind. This is kind of an all year thing for me. Like when I'm, things that we have a campaign going for digital marketing that is going 24/7, 365. It doesn't stop. Yeah. It's always going, and that's also better for the algorithms. It's also better for the system to learn how to get you more clicks. Yeah. So just kind of keep it going all year long, and of course, just know that during AEP, you've got Humana spending millions of dollars on
heavily
it. So
investing.
You're putting in $500 a month. It's not going to be as valuable during AEP.
If you have a budget like that, find other ways to spend that money. And even going back to mailers, we talked about that. Some during AEP. Some mail campaigns may not be as effective either during AEP, but it is a good year-round strategy to put into place.
Yeah. Hey, so those are pretty much kind of just some ideas. What I want to encourage you to do is think outside the box. Like these are just some ideas that we came up with off the top of our heads like last week. Yeah. There's so many more things that you could be doing to be successful. So I would encourage you to think outside that box. Engage with. I've been kind of seeing that there's a lot of Medicare podcasts out there. There are a lot of just different people out there. I'd listen to as much as possible. Again, we talk about the idea of just having this be one of the top things on your mind, right? And so best way to do that is by constantly engaging with different content like that. So there's a couple of thoughts that I have now on making sure kind of best practices of this. So the reason that we encourage our agents to kind of pick 4 things is because there is some danger in spreading yourself too thin.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to pick 4. Start off with maybe even some stools can stand on 3 legs. So maybe even pick 3 legs and really go hard, heavily invest your time into those and perfecting those before you start to add more legs to your stool. Because it could be a little bit dangerous. You've got all these ideas and you want to put all of them, you want to roll all of them out at once. It's probably not the best thing for you and your business.
Yeah, I always use an analogy for myself of when I'm at my house and I go, and usually I'm happy to do dishes if I see dishes, but like after like a big party or big like Thanksgiving dinner, like the sink is full, like all around it is full. For me, I'm like, all right, have fun with that. My wife, it can be overwhelming when you have just too many things in front of you, And so I would say that if we can just kind of bring that back and settle down, say, hey, look, what I would like to do is I want to do my networking groups. I want to do mail order leads from lead houses, and then I also want to do retail. Those types of things, and I want to focus on those. But what I will say is also be cautious that if like, even though you don't have a job, kind of treat it like a job, right? I want to get 40 hours a week in during the slow times, like when it's not AEP.
That's a big piece. You say that, and I feel like I resonate with that so much, because there was a time, and in my career, where I really didn't treat it like a job super early on. Like I'd make a sale and I would take a lot of time off, or I'd make a lot of sales. It was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just kick back and relax and not do a whole lot. Don't let the train stop. You got to keep that momentum. You've got to keep it going. But I finally got to a point where it's like, you know what? Like, this is my job. This is a job. This is my business. And I got to work hard to be successful with this business. And when I started treating it that way and started investing more time and work, putting more hours in, I was able to be more effective, and it made me much more successful. But all that being said, that's why we're in this business, for the freedom, and we want the ability to just be able to disconnect and take some time off. But if you know that you're going to be taking next week off, then make sure that you work a little extra hard this week and get everything ready, and then make sure you've got a plan in place for when you return, that you can hit the ground running when you take that, that 1 week vacation to Disney World or with your family, wherever it is that you want to go.
Yeah. But just I would treat it like a job until financially you don't have to, right? When you wake up in the morning and financially you're taken care of. But I would always encourage you to keep going with it, though, because what ends up happening is, again, we talk about natural attrition, I think, is 15%. So if you're not replacing, so you get up to a point where you have 1,000 clients and you're like, okay, I'm good. If you're not replacing 15% of that, then you're going to be losing on a yearly basis. So you got to stay active in order to do that. That's a lot of sales, right? Yeah. So you've got to stay active. One other kind of pitfall or common mistakes that people run into is struggling with their follow-ups. And what I'm talking about is even people who they'll go out there and create a new relationship with the doctor, right? And they're like, man, I want to work together, such and such. And then like 2 months later, you're like, hey, whatever happened with that? Oh man, I've been meaning to go back there. That's that's one of the things, as an agent, right? Like that's one of the things we hear so much. Oh, I've been meaning to do that. Thanks for reminding me.
I've been so busy.
Yeah, but it's like, it's 2 months. It's 2 months. You can't do that. So like the idea would be like, I'm going to go and I'm going to spend this time, and people do it. And I think with the best of intentions, right? They go out, they're like, all right, I'm going to go out there and find myself a new doctor to work with. And I'm going to spend the whole day doing that. So they invest that time, and then they even find someone who's interested, but it doesn't immediately result in a sale. And so oftentimes they'll just kind of forget about it, put it in the back burner, and never do anything to build it up. And then I'll literally be having these conversations 3-4 months from now, and you're like, oh man, I was meaning to do that. Nothing ever came from it. Yeah. Well, it's because maybe did you put in enough work? And what I'm talking about is going in there and being a face that, again, it's about being that smiling face that people recognize. That's where that's where success comes from, is networking, is building relationships around who you are. People walk into their offices all the time, but it's the guy that follows up, comes in with a smiling face, maybe brings some donuts or whatever it is to just kind of build that relationship. A candy jar, even, kind of think about having a candy jar with the business card at the bottom. And it's a small candy jar. And you say, hey, look, do me a favor. If this candy jar, whenever it gets empty, call the number on the card at the bottom, and then I'll come and I'll refill it. Yeah. And so you're constantly there. You got to follow up. That to me is like, man, and again, I know it's with the best of intentions that people do this. Or I've even seen people will spend money on mail order leads, and then they just don't ever call on those leads. It's like, man, you spent all that money. Or they'll call once or twice. We talked about that last week, where people who call once or twice, and it's gonna be hard to be super successful if that's your follow up.
Yeah, you got to, going back to the provider piece, create and maintain. That's what I was thinking when you were talking about that. Right? Create the relationship, make that investment, but you also need to be willing to invest in maintaining that relationship. And then go into leads, even if it's not a mail order lead, if it's a lead that you met at retail, if it's a referral, whatever the case may be, put some sort of system in place for yourself, however you want to get organized to follow up. What I do, I put these things in my calendar. So that, if I speak to somebody, if someone gives me a call and there's no immediate sale or appointment that's going to take place, maybe we've got to wait a little bit, I'm going to put that in my calendar. And before we hang up, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you in my calendar. I'm going to reach out to you maybe early November, and we'll set something up. I'll check in with you. Or create a note, put something in your phone. I have a note in my phone that's just called follow up.
Right.
And I've got my tasks in there just so that way, because you get to thinking about some of these things, like, oh gosh, I forgot to follow up with this person or talk to that person. Have a system in place. Put something in place to where your follow up can be there and you can keep yourself organized. If you're keeping it all here in your head, that's not good. And I speak from experience. Don't do that. Put something in place to where you can actually track your follow-up.
Yeah, bonus points. I started using an app called Motion, and what it uses is they say it uses AI to put things into your calendar. What you do is you can put your tasks in there, and I have a pretty substantial list of tasks that I need to complete. And as you can see, and you can probably see, there's quite a bit, but it puts things into your calendar. So if I say that I need to follow up, and you can put by the date and how long it'll take you, and then it'll fit it into your calendar right at the right time. So if you're not great at follow up, there's ways to do it. Kind of using the app is called Motion, and I'm a big fan of it. I think it's great. Hey, one last thing that I would say is, don't forget the importance of tracking. And what I mean is you're going to spend time on all of these different legs, right? Yeah. We talk about the stool. You're going to be spending time on working, and you're going to be investing into certain things. What I want to know is, into either my CRM, or if I'm not in a place where I have a CRM, then put it into an Excel spreadsheet with your client information, because one day you'll have a CRM. More and more FMOs are offering a free CRM or a lower cost CRM. We recently started offering a CRM to our agents, and what it does is it gives you an opportunity not just to keep track of your clients and do all the automations and workflows and things like that, but the bigger part that it does also is it helps you keep track of how you've generated this business. So I could go back and I can look 6 months from now, a year from now, and say, okay, well, 90% of my sales came from this. that's what I need to be doing more of also, right? And like just figuring out ways to do more of that. Just keep track of where everything is going. So make sure that you're either using a CRM or you're at least keeping track of it on Excel. So, well, that is the show for today. One thing that I would just encourage everybody to do is take action. So get out there, and here we are. We're about 1 month away from AEP. Get out there, start taking action. But the big part to me is no matter how good your AEP goes, keep going. Like keep it going. So I want you doing a lot of these things that we're talking about in March, in April, in May, and just watch how much more successful you can be when you put in that kind of work.
Yeah. Come back and revisit these episodes after the new year as well. They'll still be very good and effective for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, do us a favor. If you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, reach out to us. We've got social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Medicare Agent IQ. So reach out to us, send us a DM, let us know if there's something you say, hey, I'd like to know more about this. We've had some pretty good engagement. We've had agents that let us know that, hey, I'm struggling out there. I don't have a lot of support. Can you help us? We're happy to help. We're happy to just kind of be a resource for agents out there. Maybe they're struggling, that they just don't have enough support. Maybe they're just wanting to kind of get a different set of advice. Because again, remember, like I said, there's like all these different podcasts out there now that do Medicare. Sometimes maybe the way that Oscar says it might not be the way that I would say it, or vice versa. So feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. Make sure that you share this with a friend. And until next time, thank you.